What is the difference between courses that you host on MaestroConference versus courses on a typical webinar?
So when I was introduced to MaestroConference, I had given up teaching teleseminars.
Oh,
I
wow.
love to teach, and I love teleseminars in the way that I could have people come from all over the world and connect with them on this call and teach what I had to offer. But didn't really enjoy people talking over each other, and the way I was really, for the most part, a talking head. I could answer people's questions, but it wasn't very pleasant. So this was a while ago, obviously. But Maestro Conference truly changed my life because I could become a teacher again, long distance, and have highly interactive classes. And it really felt like a live workshop because just in the same way I could say to someone, turn to the person next to you and let's do this exercise, I can do that on Maestro. And so suddenly my classes had life again, and people were coming up with incredible insights and exciting ahas and contributing to each other in new ways because I was able to break people up into pairs or small groups on the call and really make it a highly interactive learning environment where people had fun and grew. And, we really got that whole bigger than the sum of its parts kind of feeling that I couldn't get on other teleseminars or webinar platforms.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Love the answer, obviously. That's great. So you talked a little bit about how you'd given up teleseminars and that MaestroConference kind of brought you back to it. What kind of specifics of MaestroConference, so what are the specific features that you use in order to create that interactivity?
So when I start a call, I'll start out finding out where people are at, and Maestro makes that easy. I can see people sort of raising their hands virtually, and I can call on them by name. I see everybody's name on my dashboard and interact with them from the very beginning of the call. And so I can get a sense of where it's really important for me to go as a teacher with my participants. And from there, I can also get a sense, I can take some polls and I can see, is one person having this challenge and therefore let's take it offline? Or is half my class having this challenge and we really need to go over this and maybe do some laser coaching? So instead of, again, being that talking head, my classes are really responding to the needs of the group, and people are getting what they need on those calls. Probably the most exciting feature for me is the ability to break people up into breakout groups. I can do these exercises as if it were a live workshop, and I'm having people work in these pairs on an exercise or a new thing they just learned and implementing it immediately. So, of course, they learn better, and also their books are going to be so much better because they get to use this information right away and really engage with it and see how they can use it in their books. And then as they're working together, if a group has a little challenge with that question or needs me, they can raise their hands, right? They press 5, and I come into their virtual room, and we can do a little bit of individual work with that particular pair of people or that particular group of people. So it frees me up to be the best teacher I can possibly be. And so I would say those are some of the biggest features.
Yeah.
But there's another aspect to Maestro that has been instrumental in becoming an award-winning book coach, and I really credit Maestro as my greatest partner in winning those awards because not just the technology, but the people behind it have helped me become the best teacher I can possibly be. So one thing that I always do is when I have a group call, I have somebody in the back end doing all the technology, putting people in the breakout groups. It's not that hard to do it, but so it's it's easy technology, but I know I can give myself 100% when somebody else is handling that that other piece for me and putting the people into groups, etc. Those people have been so experienced that at the end of the call, I will ask for feedback, and invariably I have learned how to teach better. What can I do to this particular module, or where were there opportunities to get people more engaged? Where did somebody say something that we could have built on? So in the beginning especially, I learned so much every single time I taught a class that by the next time I was teaching that same Bring Your Book to Life program, which is an 8-week program, it was so much better because of the mentoring that I got after the call from those people who were facilitating the back end and the technology piece. And that wasn't just like once. Um, there were 3 different people who were incredible teachers to me over the years. And so I've been so grateful for the people at MaestroConference. You know, a lot of companies feel like, you know, they're good partners, they're there for you. For me, Maestro is family. Uh, they have been there for me every step of the way as I've grown my business. They've made me into the mentor and teacher I am. I received a Stevie Award for Coach Mentor of the Year in 2016, and that mentorship and that ability to coach the way I do were mostly things that I learned from my friends and family at MaestroConference. So, you know, when I say family, I just, you know, I can't say how much the people at Maestro have contributed to my business. When I've had calls, they've been so supportive to spread the word, which is, I think, an unusual thing with a teleseminar or webinar company. And I went out to San Francisco as part of the San Francisco Writers Conference. I was teaching some workshops there, and I told the folks at Maestro and said, I'd love to see you guys. Well, I arrived at the Oakland office, and there was a handwritten sign that somebody made on the door welcoming me, and everybody took a break to greet me. We all chatted, and it really was like meeting people I already knew and loved. And one year they baked some chocolate chip cookies for me for Christmas and sent them to me. So there, you know, there's this level of customer service that I have never seen anywhere before, and it makes it really fun to work with them. But it also has really contributed to my business dramatically. I wouldn't be where I am and who I am without MaestroConference.
That's wonderful. So this is where can we get some kind of, Lisa, who you are, what your business is, kind of what you do, kind of that kind of background information.
Sure. I'm Lisa Tenner. I am an award-winning book development coach, and that means I help people write their books, write book proposals, and publish really terrific books. My clients tend to be doctors, therapists, entrepreneurs, healers, business people, and mostly we work on how-to and self-help books. And that's where my teleseminars come in. I have an 8 to 12-week program where people work on writing a first draft of their self-help or how-to book, and Maestro really helps make that possible.
Wonderful. And so for these 8-week seminars, I assume that these are paid courses that you're having people come in for 8 weeks and they're kind of a part of your group and they're charged something.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which they say.
And so one of the things that Maestro allows you to do, as we talked about earlier, is the interactivity piece. How does that interactivity piece align with kind of what you charge and how you're able to do that?
So when I first started offering teleseminars, I was charging something like $300 for this 8 to 12-week program. And you know, and I think I was delivering value for that, but I wasn't delivering $5,000 worth of value. Now with MaestroConference, I charge $4,997, so it's a $5,000 program, and I know I'm delivering more value than that $5,000 I'm charging because people continually tell me that, and they say what a great investment it was. I had one of my authors who's published and finished her book in that program and started it too in that program. She said that it was like the third best thing after getting married and having a baby or something like that, so was publishing her book. But I think Maestro, you know, is part of that experience and part of making that work so well.
Wonderful. So what kind of tips would you give someone who's hosting a teleseminar? What would you tell them to look out for, and what would you tell them to kind of make sure that they do, make sure they don't do?
So some of the tips I would offer to somebody who's offering teleseminars or webinars is make your classes as interactive as you can. When you engage people, they learn so much better, and they really often receive transformation, right? They receive things that really change them or make their product or whatever they're working on so much better. So I highly recommend making it interactive, because that's how people are going to actually use and own what you have to offer them. If you're just a talking head, there are a lot of talking heads out there. It's not going to differentiate you, and it's not going to make your work meaningful for people. So you probably have, all kinds of things that make your teaching special. If you make your classes more interactive, you're going to accentuate those pieces and really stand out. And I think that's what one of the things that really makes my classes stand out in a fairly competitive field, right? There are a lot of people teaching how to write a book. And there are not a lot of people charging $5,000 for that kind of program, but I can do that because of the kind of value I offer, and a lot of that is Maestro. It's the interactivity, it's the ability to really tailor each class to what people need that day and to what they need as a group and as a community. So another tip that I would give is create community. And ways to do that on a call are, and this is something that my Maestro friends taught me. I wasn't doing this in the beginning, but it's easy to tell people all the stuff you know, but what's really exciting is when you bring out what they know. So now I've learned from my friends at Maestro to really ask people questions about, well, why is it so important to polish our writing? Or I might ask, what are some of your favorite writing tips? Or what makes writing really leap out on the page for you? And when I ask those questions, sometimes they'll come up with things I never came up with. So it's great because it's a richer learning environment, right? There's more information coming through and things that we would have missed if I was just talking. But also they're engaged, right? And they're going to think of new things. And they get to learn from each other, which creates a lot more community. So then when these books get published, these people are still a community. They're still supporting each other and sharing the word about each other's books. So whatever you're doing, whatever you're teaching, as you create community, it only strengthens the work that you're there to help people with and the service that you're there providing. So community's a really big one, and that's where Maestro just really stands out from the crowd. Another thing I would say is Maestro's great for walking the room, right? When people are doing these exercises, you can go and listen, be a fly on the wall. Certainly let people know that you'll be walking the room. You don't want to surprise them when they think they're having a private conversation. But, do walk the room and see what you hear, and you're going to learn so much from that as well. You'll learn maybe where your instructions were really clear, and you'll also learn where maybe it's not clear or where people are struggling. And that's also going to help you be much more responsive to the needs of the people on your calls.
Fantastic. And finally, just kind of closing out, what would you tell someone who's thinking about using MaestroConference or thinking about using a webinar software in comparison with MaestroConference?
Well, I'd say when you're evaluating different services, think about not just the way you're delivering today, but the way you want to be delivering these courses. What kinds of value do you want to be adding? What kinds of experience do you want to be giving people? If you want to be giving them community, if you want to be giving them a chance to really interact at a powerful level, then I don't see anything else out there on the market that's doing what Maestro is doing. So I'd have a hard time buying one of those other services when you could have something that is going to be so much more powerful for your people and so much more powerful for you as you grow. The other piece is that mentoring I was talking about. The people on the Maestro calls have listened to, sometimes hundreds of other calls, and they know what works. They know what engages people. And they're really good at just listening and saying, oh, what if you did this? So, if you want a team who's going to be working with you and really helping you get better and better, if you want to win those awards, then Maestro is a great way to go. And I think the premier program out there, hands down, and plus they're really fun to work with. So that's just a little icing on the cake.
Wonderful, Lisa. Is there anything else you want to add?
Let's see. I'm just so thrilled to have Maestro as a partner in my business. It's helped me grow as a teacher. It's helped My classes get better and better all the time. And I think a lot of the reputation I have as a standout teacher of how to write a book and how to get published is due to what I've learned from the people at Maestro and what I've done with the technology that Maestro affords me. So if you want to really stand out and offer something that's above what your competitors are offering, Maestro could be a great opportunity for you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, Lisa. That was fantastic.